Hey there, Alina Wilson here from Estimate Mastery, and today I'd like to talk about a frequently asked question that we have, not only in the members of our training do they ask this question, but just out in the industry I hear people talking about this, so I thought I'd go ahead and help out with one of the most frequently asked questions that I hear contractors complaining about when they're doing insurance work, and that is the adjuster saying a line item or overhead and profit or something that's required and necessary is the cost of doing business. So how do we overcome that objection? Let's talk about that today in this video. So first off here, I want to talk about the reason why we're using Xactimate. And this actually goes back to this cost of doing business issue. So why not just write your estimate in QuickBooks or AccuLinks or whatever software you use to track your financials? Well, the reason we use Xactimate is so that we can talk apples for apples with the adjuster's estimate, right? That way we can say, hey, you have these 10 line items, but it actually takes 15 to do the job. That's why we use Xactimate to begin with, is so that we have some rules or groundwork to play with. We don't have any gray areas. Maybe you're a contractor who you just write an estimate and said, this is what it costs. That's fine. If that's you, you keep doing you. But those of us that use Xactimate, the reason I advocate that you would use it is so that you can actually have a conversation with the adjuster and speak their language. I had someone who came to one of my classes say, Alina, now that I'm done with this class, I actually feel like I can have a conversation with the adjuster. Before I felt like it was French, and you just taught me French. So that's the reason we're using Xactimate, is because we have ground rules. That being said, every single line item you add to your estimate has a click for detail button. Use those like clockwork. Every time that you use a line item, you're going, man, last time I added this, the adjuster said it was a cost of doing business, or last time I added this, they said it was included in this other line item. Add a line item note explaining why you're using this line item and inform the adjuster of why it's legitimate and necessary. We're not adding any fluff to our estimates. We're not adding anything that we're not doing anyways, right? Every action in Xactimate on a job is actually going to be a line item in the program. So use that click for detail to your advantage. And this goes back to things like cleanup, supervisory hours, moving contents out of the way so that you can do the work, those kinds of things. It even can go into overhead and profit. Why are you adding overhead and profit on just one trade on this estimate? Well, it's because Xactware says that no overhead and profit is baked into the estimate for the general contractor. Yes, it's there for the subcontractor, but look, I subbed out this work. I'm overseeing this job as a restoration professional, so the homeowner doesn't have to do that. The homeowner doesn't have to worry, are they adhering to IICRC or OSHA or code or any of the requirements for the job? The homeowner doesn't have to take on that liability. That's me as a general contractor. So there's a lot of this cost of doing business stuff that floats around our industry that contractors swallow. And I think if you have the confidence to say, I'm using Xactimate, it's not included in the line item. What I'm asking for is completely necessary because I don't work for free, Mr. Adjuster. You for sure don't work for free. I don't work for free. I don't work for the insurance company. There is no cost of doing business when using Xactimate. Every action is a line item and it's defined by the click for detail. So as long as you can describe why you need that line item and get the homeowner on your side and say, look, this is what I'm doing. I'm cleaning your property properly. I'm overseeing the job with the project manager properly. And I'm asking for overhead and profit because I'm a general contractor and I don't work for free. I'm actually taking on the liability for you and making sure that this job is done up to industry standards. Those are the kind of conversations that a homeowner could get involved and help you with that adjuster as well. And finally, I kind of know what you're probably thinking right now. Okay, Alina, I hear you. Yes, I use Xactimate. Yes, I know how to use click for detail. Yes, I know how to explain the line item. But they're still not going to pay it. Here's what I have to say for you. You have to do the work of documenting why you're asking for those line items on the job by using photos, by showing what IICRC requirement requires that you do X, Y, and Z with containment, to show why you needed a project manager because these guys are on the roof and it's over 12 feet high and they're working at a height that is extremely dangerous. You've got to just let the adjuster know what's going on. And that takes a little bit of extra work with either a photo, a documentation piece where you copy and paste. You're not the authority, you're required to do this. writing up a line item note, making sure that that's on your estimate. There is extra work that this requires, but the extra 5 or 10 minutes of the things that I'm asking you to do can result in hundreds, if not thousands of dollars being paid out in an estimate for those cost of doing business line items. The second thing I'd like to say here is that every single line item you add to an estimate should be completely legitimate and reasonable. There should be no fluff. However, sometimes we can leverage some line items that are lower ticket to get higher ticket items paid. When I write an estimate, every single thing on that estimate is legitimate and required. However, I've played this game for 9 years, and I know that the adjuster feels like they have to win sometimes. Just like selling the job to the homeowner, you have to sell your estimate to that adjuster. And sometimes you have to have a give and take. I'd rather have O&P paid than 8 hours of supervision. If that has to happen and I know my margins are being hit, it's not that it's not legitimate. It's not that that whole estimate should not be paid. It should be paid. But for me, in order to turn over the job, not drag it out for 12 weeks by trying to get 8 hours of project supervision paid and taking the O&P, that is a decision that you are able to make as the contractor. Again, I am saying every single thing in my estimate is warranted. The whole shebang should be bought. Sometimes, though, there's a give and take. And if you know your numbers well enough in your business, you can make decisions like that. I'm not going to hold up my accounts receivable for 12 weeks for $380. I'm going to take the O&P, they paid it, we're going to run. There are actually policies, like not the policy that they pay the premium on by the homeowner or policyholder. There are policies inside of insurance companies where literally they cannot submit the estimate if they have whatever that line item is. It actually can't even go up to the insurance company so they can write the check. So they're frustrated because you're holding up them doing their job as well. So there's a give and take on these items. And as you get more experience in the industry, as you figure out, what is going to hold up your estimate for $300, or will they pay this other thing in lieu of it? Sometimes, with Ridge and Starter, we can get a 20% waste factor paid a lot easier than a 10% waste factor with Ridge and Starter added. And sometimes the 20% will pay even more than getting that Ridge and Starter and the 10%. You know what I mean? So you got to be flexible in the industry as well. This isn't a hard and fast rule. And again, everything I put in the estimate is completely legitimate and warranted. There is no fluff. But I know the game well enough that I'm not going to hold up an estimate just for a measly, $200 to $300. I know my numbers well enough. I can close it and call it a day. And then lastly, remember, leverage that homeowner, leverage that policyholder. They own the claim and they can help you go a long way in getting your estimate paid. So let me know what you think about this topic. Let me know in the comments. What kind of conversations are you having? I've said 1 or 2 controversial things in there. I know I'm going to hear about them in the comments. So I can't wait to look and see what you guys are saying out there and reply. If you like this topic or topics like this, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. Hit that little bell and you'll get a notification every time I release a video every Tuesday. Again, my name is Alina Wilson with Estimate Mastery. For any information on our training for contractors with Xactimate and supplementing, you can go to estimatemastery.com. And I hope you have a great week in your business, and I'll see you next week.